What's up guys, it's Joe Gorchie here and welcome back to the channel. Today's video we are going to be mastering a song in Logic using a mixture of Logic stock plugins and also Waves plugins as well. Now for those of you who haven't mastered before, hopefully this video will be a first introduction for you, or for those of you who are intermediates at mastering, hopefully I can show you a few new tricks to improve your mastering. I do a lot of mastering, it's one of my main freelance works, and basically I'm going to be showing you through, this is the sort of template that I use. I have my own mastering chain of plugins in a certain order and this is just what works for me. I have found a template that works and helps me get a really good sound from master, but I'm going to be talking you through the basic fundamentals of what I'm trying to achieve every time, so per track I can adapt the settings slightly to still achieve a sonically superior sound. But before we do start, hit that subscribe button if you're new to the channel, because we're trying to get this channel to 10k subscribers by the end of the year. It's a monumental task, but I believe we can do it. And if you're into Logic Pro videos, if you like mixing and mastering videos or reaction videos, anything like that, then this is the channel for you. But with that mandatory out the way, let's jump straight into Logic and let's master a song. Okay, so we are now in Logic and the project you've got in front of me is a quick beat that I have made. It doesn't really matter what the beat is, it's just a kind of pop beat that I've made. Let's have a listen to this. And yeah, now one thing you're going to notice first off the bat is this track is very hot on the stereo out, so we're going to need to fix that, but there's a lot of things that we need to sort out. So let's start with this chain. Now the first thing in the chain that I always do is an adaptive limiter, and this is Logic's own for those of you Logic users out there. I always put the out ceiling down to -2 and the gain to 0. Now the reason I do this is because I want to create more of a ceiling so I can do all the editing and boosting and lows and higher frequencies that I want to do and cutting. So when it comes to that final boost in the gain to improve the loudness of the track, I know I've got that ceiling and that room to be able to do that without already maximizing the level, if that makes sense. So the second plugin that I go for then is a Waves plugin, and this is the C4 multipressor. Now the reason I use this, and I actually use a preset on this, I'm going to go with the multi-electro mastering. Now the reason I love this is because I just think this preset has a really good way of automatically balancing the track a bit. It just has some settings on the mid frequencies which I really help find balance it. Because I'm mixing in these HS5 speakers, there's a lot of mid frequencies that I can hear very prominently, so having the C4 in helps kind of give these speakers a more clear and flat sound, so I feel like I'm hearing the true sound of the project. But I also just think it's a good first balance. And again, there is nothing wrong with presets, but this is just what I do. I've always done this and I will continue to do this. But the next plugin, in my opinion, is the most important in the mastering chain. And at this point I haven't even really listened to the song, which you might think is bonkers, but I'm going to show you why. So the reason why we haven't is because we're going to now go for the Vitamin. Again, I have done a tutorial on this plugin. This is a great mastering plugin, and this is now where we're going to start listening to the song properly. Now we've got our gain down, we know we've got that ceiling, we're going to start boosting and balancing certain frequency bands using this plugin, and then I'm going to show you what we can also do with this after we've done that. But here we go. I'm going to be aiming to get everything to around -24 to -12. I want to see a nice flat line across here. So here we go. A bit on this one. Always try and master around the chorus, by the way. And there you go. So all of a sudden this song feels like it's had a lift, and that's the power of the Vitamin. The next thing I want to point you to is these settings down here. Now this is kind of like a little spread for the certain frequency bands, and I always like to turn the top two slightly to the right, as well as the bass, and then slightly turn these the other way. So basically this is going to widen the mix of these frequencies from what looks like 2K to 16K, while on the other end you can shrink, and this is making them more mono. Now the reason I like to do this, I like to have the mid things down the middle more. Now where you think what is their mid frequencies going to be, that's going to be a lot of the percussion, like the snare and the sort of higher end of the kick, so that really sticks out in the middle of the mix. So that's why I like to keep that narrow. And just by doing it, it sounds great. Now one thing we have done is we have boosted again, and this is something that isn't common, and this may surprise you. Some of you may think that this is absolute blasphemy, but I'm now going to add another adaptive limiter to the track. Now again, this is because we're boosting and I'm not ready to try and improve the loudness yet, so just putting another adaptive limiter in with that -2 ceiling again means we're not at that clipping stage, but we've managed to boost and cut in areas of the frequency bands that we wanted to. Which leads on to probably one of the most important parts of mastering, and that is the EQing. Now I go to waves for this again with the Q10 just because it's got 10 frequency bands, which is so handy. And what we're going to want to do now is use this EQ to find all the problem frequencies, the ones that are a little bit harsh on the ear, cut them out. Maybe try not to do too much boosting, we've done enough of that, and we're literally sculpting this track now to sonically how we want it to be. So let's do that. Go. Slight low cut. Right. So now we're going to isolate. So we're going to start in the higher frequencies. Again, always play from the chorus. As you can hear, there is a little ring that's going on there in the frequency band. It's quite harsh on the ear. So what we're going to do now is we're going to slightly cut that out. And that tidies up the higher frequencies. Now, I sort of know from experience, you can tend to get these problem frequencies around 2K, the 5K mark, the boxier frequencies from 250 to 1K. So again, at this point, I'm just going to do a little bit of a rush job, but let's try and find something around here. There it is. It's always around there somewhere. I just don't like them frequencies when I do mastering, so I like to cut them out. Nice. Now, one thing I might do, and this is really a cheeky, cool little idea, is adding a little bit of a boost round where the kick really resonates. There. So that sounds like it thumps a lot more and it sounds great. I might do a little bit of a lift in the high end. To add a little bit of air, a little bit of space to the track. Support them crashes as well. But yeah, I'm going to leave it like that. I normally spend more time in this on it, but hey, there we go. And now the last thing that we're going to do before we focus on the loudness is, again, I'm going to put another adaptive limiter in. This is something that may surprise you, but I've talked to mastering engineers in the past at university where we had mastering engineers come in. I've been to Metropolis Studios in London, and you'd be amazed how many limiters are put into a mastering chain when mastering. You'd be very surprised. Oh, you're taught in college and university to use one limiter, but no, you can actually use a series of limiters together in the mastering process, and that is something that does happen, especially with analog hardware. So there you go. So now I just want to quickly use one of my coolest plugins, the S1 Imager. Now we're just going to create a little bit more space in the track, widen the stereo image just a tad. Really helps the track get that space. So you just feel that little bit of a shift out, and it gives that more space for it. If there's a vocal on here, again, this is going to be a beat which I'm going to put up on BeatStar, so I want the vocalist to have that room in the middle to be able to play with it. So now we're on to the last thing, and that is the loudness, and we're going to use my favorite limiter for that, and that is the L1 Ultra Maximizer. What a cool name. Here we go. So what we're going to do is we're just going to put the out ceiling to 0.1 just for now. And we're going to turn up the threshold to about 5 to start with, and we'll see how that goes. There we go. So this should be sitting on 0 now. Boom. So there you go, and that is literally what I do when mastering songs 99% of the time. The adjustments that I say that you have to make each time, the variables, is in the vitamin and the Q10 mainly. The vitamin, because you're balancing all them frequencies together. They have built-in compressors, so you're really trying to get a nice, like a very nice dynamic balance across the whole track. And then again with the Q10, we're just using them little notch filters, isolating certain annoying frequencies, chiseling away at the song to get it sounding sonically superior. And then the L1 Maximizer, again, that's self-explanatory, that's the loudness. So yeah, that is basically how you master. Let's have a quick listen to before and after. So the main differences you can hear there, the beat sounds so much cleaner now, it's a lot easier on the ears. The loudness isn't too different because, again, when I did a mix of this, I completely disregarded the loudness of the track, so I actually had to tone down a bit, so there wasn't much problems with the loudness in this one, but a lot of the time when I get into projects, the reason for all them limiters is to keep it under control, and then you do the final boost at the end. But as you see, the reason why I probably added more limiters was because the track was already loud. Now, if you ever get that thing with an artist where they send it to you and the track's really loud, always recommend to leave at least 2 to 6 dB of headroom so you have that space, but if not, it doesn't really matter because you can use these adaptive limiters in series of each other to control the loudness. But yeah, guys, that was a tutorial on how to master music. I hope you enjoyed, and if you did, then hit that subscribe button again, because that 10k by the end of the year, let's make that happen. And if there's any other tutorials that you want to see, then comment below and suggest. I'm always open to suggestions from people on the channel. But yeah, guys, thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Again, keep making music, and I will see you in the next video.